My name is Claudia Pargas, and for my midterm presentation, I chose Annie Leibovitz. So, Annie Leibovitz is an American photographer who specializes in portrait photography. She is most known for her appealing portraits, especially of celebrities, which are often characterized the subjects characterizes the subject in the setting and poses that are quite intimate. Um, so to start talking a little more about how Annie became interested in becoming a photographer, um, that's what I'm gonna talk to you guys about today. She was born on October 2nd, 1949 in Waterbury, Connecticut. Her parents were second generation Roman Jewish. Her mom was a modern dance instructor who was also interested in the arts, specifically in music and painting. And I think that's where Leibovitz got her artistic inspiration from, could be from her mom. Um, but, anyways, her dad was involved in the U.S. Air Force, and as of this, they moved to the Philippines during the Vietnam War. And so she became interested and saw this as a great opportunity to start taking pictures around the base, the military base, and of nearby locals that were in the area. But she did not have any aspiration of becoming a photographer. She mainly just did it for fun. Um, but as time went on, she did have a passion for arts, so she attended the San Francisco Art Institute, in which her primary goal was to become an arts teacher. But after having her first workshop during her second semester, this workshop was a photography workshop. She immediately fell in love and embraced the concept of photography, and so she changed her major from painting to photography. And so while she was still attending school around the 1970s, she reluctantly showed the creator of the Rolling Stones magazine, Jan Wiener, some of her pictures that she had taken of a famous poet during that time, Allen Ginsberg, smoking some marijuana at an anti-Vietnam march. And so he was very impressed with such talent that he immediately hired her to become a contributing photographer. And that image she took of Ginsberg was used for the cover of the next issue of the Rolling Stones. And well, the Rolling Stone magazine at that time was still very fresh, a very new magazine that mainly focused on rock music. Even though they focused on rock music, they were still very open for anything. And so because of this, Leibovitz referred to the magazine as an empty canvas waiting to be filled with images. And around the time that she was 23 years old, she had already become the chief photographer for the magazine and was given total and absolute freedom to experiment with her work. And so, after working years with the Rolling Stone magazine. During one of her mature working periods, she was approached by Vanity Fair magazine to become their first chief photographer in 1983. This was a risky move for Leibovitz since all she had been working with was, the rock and roll, and the Vanity Fair magazine was a more glossier editorial, but she felt the time was right since she needed to move from some of her dark moments, which she went through because she was rumored to have sold her camera equipment to pay for some drugs, for some cocaine. But after some time in rehabilitation and after she was clean for good, she was ready for the next step in her life, which was working for Vanity Fair. And she, she wanted to be the continuation of the famous photographer Edward Steichen, and with the tradition of portrait photography and a splash of counterculture. And so in this magazine, she was given full freedom, and the budget for this magazine was not an issue, unlike with the Rolling Stones. So this allowed her to be, have more freedom to experiment, and her portraits at this time were transitioning from simple black and white images to a more colorful and rich color portraits. So with this, in this magazine, she did still used both mediums, and she created a signature scene with the use of both the black and white images and the colorful images. Because of her career as a photographer, she took advantage of this opportunity to photograph many celebrities, including political figures, musicians, athletes, and actors. And with this, she has helped to create that surreal, idealistic image that we expect from such people, such as actors and athletes. And one of her most famous images was of John Lennon lying next to Yoko Ono, which is his, it was his wife at that time, hours before he was killed. And in 2005, the American Society magazine editors named it the best magazine cover from the past 40 years. So that was huge. And she also had some chance and experience to practice with her advertising skills. She has done some photo shoots for Honda, Gap, American Express, and many, many, many proclaimed companies. And because of her experience and success as a photographer, she had the honor of receiving the Clio Award, which is like an Academy Award for advertising, in the advertising world. And she was also made a member of the Art Directors Hall of Fame in 1999. As a result, Annie Leibovitz has become one of the most famous people, photographer, and she has become a leading chief at capturing all the popular culture icons in dramatic, unique, and innovative ways. She has paved the way for other contemporary commercial photographers, such as Mario Testino, to also be seen as a legitimate work of art. And as of today, Leibovitz continues to work and expand on her photography in both artistic and popular venues, and her work maintaining a high standard to which emerging photographers aspire to be at one point. So, thanks for watching.